Well, we are live. What is up? What is up? It is Noah here with Youngblood MMA, and we are going over the Youngblood official grading schematic. Now, what I'm doing is nothing new. I guarantee you other people have their own system of doing this, right? Doing this work. I got into this because I was betting a lot on Prize Picks. I was watching a lot of fights, and I wanted to come to a calculation in my own way of how I could accurately predict as close as possible who's going to win, right? Obviously, anything could happen. Everyone's got a puncher's chance. But I was working with like 6 different categories. I was looking at pushing the pace, footwork and distance management, elite cardio, durability, grappling upside, and power. And then I'd also look at like a 7th category, which was I'd look at the odds and I'd think, okay, if an underdog wins 1 out of 3 fights, we got to look at the statistics here. And so that's how I started getting into it. And it just gets to be a lot. You know, you're watching a lot of fights all by yourself. You've watched around like 18 times because I have really bad ADD. I got to skip back. I got to rewatch it. And I don't want to do that, man. This gets to be too crazy. So I'm like, let's consolidate this. How can I focus on more than one category at a time and get pretty damn good at this, you know? So we split it up, and I went from 6, 7 categories to really looking at like 3 to 4, right? And so here's a layup. So first one on the list, effective striking and grappling. Now, what I hate about this is that it's so widely accepted that this gets to be a subjective topic. You know, it's true. A lot of us fight fans, judges have different perceptions on what effective striking and grappling is. But what we have to do is we have to accept what is the most popular way to view this thing, right? And we're talking about, we got judges that disagree on this. You got split decisions going one way to the other. And we're like, how the hell did you score it that way? This was clearly 50-45 in one direction, and there's no way to look at it any other way. But to break it down, effective striking and grappling is any attempt at striking and grappling happens to be effective. It's pretty clear. That's black and white. Even if you're a striker and you got pillow hands and you're going jab, 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 teep, jab, jab, right? At the end of 3 rounds, 5 rounds, we should see some significant damage or long-term effect into the finish of that fight. And if it doesn't go to a finish, it doesn't mean it's not effective. But it has to mean something. You have to be crossing the void and make contact with your opponent, right? If you're throwing jabs and strikes and nothing's landing because you keep missing or you're not getting close enough, that's not effective. In terms of grappling, right? You can't just go and shoot for a takedown and hold your opponent there. Yes, I'm going to give you points for that. But we need to be trying to go for finishes, whether you're striking or grappling. You know, if you're striking, you got to look for that knockout. Or you, as a striker, you should be looking to get a submission here. No ifs, ands, or buts. We want to see some action. We want to see things progressing in a fight, and we don't want to see any stalemates. That's bad fighting. Nobody wants to see that. So that's where we score between 0 to a +3 on this scoring system, right? I feel like a 0 would be someone very mediocre. If I'm giving somebody a 0, it means they strike and grapple on a very basic level. Whereas a +3, I'm probably giving that to like Ilia Topuria. I'm probably going to give that to Islam Makhachev. All right, enough of that. Let's go to the next one down. Assertiveness and pace control. Now, this has everything to do with a fighter that's purely looking for a finish. They're hunting their opponent down. They're looking for an opening. They are looking to control this fight on every turn. They don't have to be on their lead leg, stepping forward, pushing their opponent back. That has nothing to do with pace control. If you look at a fighter like Ian Gary, he's not always pushing and trotting forward. Sometimes he's actually luring his opponent back. He's looking for those counters. He's looking for somebody to overextend. I want to see a fighter that's showing some sort of assertiveness. They're executing their game plan above their opponent. They're not letting their opponent execute their game plan. They're ruining their opponent's rhythm. And John Jones does that. For example, when he was fighting Stipe Miocic at UFC 309, when Stipe would start to get a rhythm, you had Jones and he just start moving away, creating a decent level of space to where now Stipe has to reset if he wants to find a decent shot or get into some sort of a good flow against John Jones. Fighters I'm awarding this to, right? Assertiveness, +3. Pace control. 100% Khamzat Chimaev. Assertiveness, pace control. This guy's looking to kill you. All right. On to the next. Our third category, durability and cardio. Now, that seems pretty clear, right? With cardio. A fighter that's got great cardio, by the way, Merab. I want to see these guys rounds 4 and 5 as fresh as when they were in rounds 1 and 2. You have durability. Someone that can take a lot of shots and keep pressing forward, that's got an iron mindset. Somebody like a Max Holloway. Someone that's got a sturdy chin. Someone that can outlast a submission attempt, like an Arman Sarukian, right? Getting choked out by Charles Oliveira and just laying flat, being patient, and waiting for his chance. Someone that can push beyond the pain and uncomfortability of being in a losing position. That's somebody that I'm going to think about. They had a fight, they got brutally destroyed, but they kept pushing forward for 3 rounds or 5 rounds. Next time they come up fight, I'm maxing them out on their durability. I'm probably giving them like a +2. So that's how I'm scoring fighters for 95% of the roster. If you get a fighter that's got +3 on effective striking and grappling, +3 on assertiveness and pace control, +3 on durability and cardio, that is a 9 out of 10 fighter in the UFC. That's easily an A- score. Now for the other 5%, I'm allowing a +1 point for bonuses here. I'm talking about substantial records. These are fighters that are undefeated or they have mostly finishes with almost perfect records. So, I've been thinking about UFC 311 a lot. That's why I've been bringing up analogies with Islam Makhachev, who I'd give a +1 to. Another person I'd give a +1 to, like a big name, would be like, John Jones. Alex Pereira gets a +1. Yeah, he's not undefeated. He's got 1 or 2 losses on his record, but he's got almost all knockouts. Ilia Topuria would get a +1. There's a lot of big names, right? You got like a Volkanovski would get a +1. So, Carlos, I'd even give Carlos Prates a +1. Yeah, he's not ranked, but the guy got 4 KOs in a period of a year, undefeated in his professional record. That's what I'm giving those +1 points for. I think they deserve it. Now, I'm hardly giving any fighter a perfect 10 out of 10 score. But yeah, some of those bigger names, they have incredible records or they've had mostly finishes. Yeah, I'm going to give them a 10 out of 10. And that's probably less than 1% of the UFC. So that's basically how I'm grading these fighters here. And like I said, I'm looking at a fighter on their best night. They have the best mindset. They had the best fight camp. They have the most amount of energy and cardio. They're the best version of themselves as a fighter on fight night. There's not too many outside sources of stress, but they can fluctuate 2 to 3 points based off of their mindset on come fight night. See, you could have a favorite in a fight, right? Let's say they're a 7 out of 10 on the grading system, fighting a 5 out of 10, and the 5 out of 10 shows up, it's his best night. The 7 out of 10 has a horrible night, had a horrible camp, didn't have their head in the game. Maybe they came in with some injuries. They could be fighting at a 4 out of 10 and they could lose that fight. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to happen all the time, but that's where it comes in that the likelihood of a fighter losing, the likelihood of a champion losing their belt to someone that they should be winning 8 out of 10 times. That's how it goes. Sometimes that's the name of the game. That's mixed martial arts. Anyways, Make sure to like, subscribe, follow the channel, and drop your comments down below. I'm going to try to be uploading these at least for pay-per-view cards and just be as regular as I can with it. And just see how it goes. And again, I want to discuss some of your ideas. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.